Norway. Alright, so we got a good amount of people on here, so we'll get rolling here. Alright. So, I'm going to start using a Blue Wing Olive competition wide gape jig hook. We're going to do a size 12. We're going to tie a little big tonight, so that way, just for the purpose of, you know, everybody being able to see what's happening. And I'm using a 3.8 millimeter Blue Wing Olive tungsten bead in matte black. I'll throw a little bit of lead wire on here, give it a little bit of weight. I like to cram my wraps up into the head of the bead. That way we got all the weight there without sacrificing shank space. So for thread, I'm going to start with UTC 140 in fluorescent chartreuse. I'll get a base layer down there. And I could leave the lead on the shank for my taper, but I like having the weight right up in the front. So I shove it up into the bead. Alright, so we got a good base layer. So for the ribbing, I'm using UTC vinyl rib, Nymph size in olive green. And what I like to do is, I like to take my lighter and just kind of melt the end a little bit, stretch it out, thins it out so you can keep a slim profile at the tail while still being able to tie it in. And if you stretch it too thin, it will break, so you got to be careful. There's a fine line there, but alright. And then for the dubbing, I use a blend of Hairline Ice Dub in light olive and Polar Dove in olive. I do about a 50-50 blend. You get something like this. And when I blend it, I actually try to rip the fibers. I want the fibers to be a little bit shorter so that when I do my dubbing or my split thread, you get kind of like a spiky, it gets a little spiky, so it comes through the ribbing. So I do a split thread method here. So I'm gonna zoom out so you guys can see a little better. I just give it a spin, twist it up, and wrap it around. So then we take our D-rib and just go around. I kind of do spaced out wraps, that way the dubbing can kind of poke through. Some wraps in front and behind. And again, for all of you guys that are just tuning in, make sure you guys share the video. Norvise is going to be giving away a prize package, and I will also be giving away all the flies that are tied in tonight's video as well. So I'll give that a little whip finish. Cut that off. And I'll switch to our black thread. I mean, I could just use a marker, but I like using the black thread. Alright, for the dubbing for the collar, I don't know what this is. It's something that's been in my drawer since I started tying, so I can't tell you who makes it or what it is. Unfortunately, it's a very soft type of dubbing. I'll see if we can... This thread is not UTC. It doesn't like to split as well. There we go. Alright, let's take a little pinch of this black. And again, just give it a little twist. Zoom in so you guys can see better. Just go ahead and wrap that up. Palmer it back a little bit. And that's it. Give it a 4 or 5 turn whip finish, and I actually like to double up. Oh, well, the thread broke, but I usually like to double up my whip finishes. Simple as that. But these, in my area here in Vermont, I catch a ton of fish on this fly. They're super easy to tie. I usually tie them between 12 and size 18, but tonight we're tying all 12 just for the purpose of, you know, being able to see what we're doing here. So I'll get another hook in the vise. Again, we're using Blue Wing Olive size 12 competition jig hooks. These are awesome hooks. The price point on these are very competitive, and the hooks are awesome. Alright, so we got a 3.8 millimeter tungsten bead slotted, also from Blue Wing Olive. I'll lay down some lead wraps here. Usually do 7 or 8 wraps. Shove it up into the bead. There. So, sorry guys, I'll try to keep up with the comments. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody here to help me in video and answer comments. So I gotta try to tie and watch the comments at the same time. So just bear with me here. And I'll go back, any comments I can't answer during the video, I'll try to go back after and answer whatever I can. So just bear with me. Alright, so again, we'll take our D-rib. And we'll burn the end of it here, just really quick, just to try to stretch it out a little bit. That way we don't bulk up the tail of our fly. We like to keep it thin at the end. So just lay that down. Do a wrap behind. A couple more on top. So again, for the dubbing, I have a blend of Hairline Polar Dub in Olive and Hairline Ice Dub in Light Olive. I got about a 50-50 blend. I rip it up so the fibers are a little bit on the shorter side, so when I do my split thread dubbing noodle, it kind of has more of a spiky look to it, so it pokes through the ribs. So get that in there. Just give it a spin. And we'll lay that down. And so when I wrap my ribbing, I do loose, not loose, but I mean spaced out wraps. That way the dubbing can poke through. Catch that, do some wraps in front and behind. Do a whip finish and switch to our black thread. Switch to our black. So again, make sure you guys share the video, get a chance to win the Nor-vise giveaway along with all the flies that I tied tonight. So for the collar, I'm using this mystery dubbing that was given to me when I started tying. I have no idea what it is, but it's super soft. But you can use whatever, you know, black dubbing you choose to use. I don't think the fish care too much. So do a split thread again. That one. Get in there. Give it a twist. Kind of palmer that back a little bit. If it's a little heavy on the dubbing, just rip off any excess. I'll give that. I like to double up on my whip finish here, just to make sure it's nice and strong. I mean, being they're Euro nymphs, they're dragon bottom, you're probably going to lose them before they fall apart, but still, I like to make them built to last. Alright. Let's tie another one. If I can get my fingers to work here. So again, for the sake of being repetitive, the hook we're using, Blue Wing Olive, size 12 competition wide gape jig hook. And we're using a 3.8 millimeter matte black tungsten bead, also from Blue Wing Olive. If you guys haven't been over to their shop, check it out. They got really good prices on hooks and beads. Alright. Oh, I forgot to mention, I don't know if any of you guys were with us for the last video. I have upgraded to a beautiful new legacy vise. Don't mean to brag or anything, but thought I would share that. And I was able to pass on my old used Norvise to a good friend of mine so he could join the family. Alright, so we got our lead wraps on there. Again, I like to shove them, use my fingernail, kind of shove them up into the slot of the bead head. That way all your weight's up front. You don't lose any shank space. So I'm trying to keep up with the comments, but they're not really, what's the word? They're not loading. They're just kind of stuck on my screen in one spot. They're not staying current, but I'm trying to keep an eye on them. So make sure you guys share the video. Norvise is doing a giveaway, as well as I'm giving away all the flies that are tied in tonight's video. Oh, where did my D-rib go? So we're going to use some D-rib, olive color, nymph size. Take my lighter, kind of burn the end a little, whoop, a little too much. Burn the end just so you can stretch it out a little bit. That way you can tie in the tail, keep it nice and low profile. Get that nice and secured. Do a wrap behind, a couple more over top. And for a dubbing, we're doing a blend of polar dub and ice dub. So we'll do a split thread. This UTC is really easy to split. It's nice. I mean, it's not the, you know, best quality thread. I think we all kind of know that. It is what it is, but they got a good color selection and it splits really well. Alright, we'll wrap that up and we do our rib again. Oops. Do tight but spaced out wraps. That way the dubbing can kind of poke through a little bit. Do some wraps in front and behind. Make sure it's nice and secure. Give that a whip finish and we'll switch thread color. I'll switch to a black. So I'm using this black mystery dubbing that was given to me. Not sure what it is, but I use it for my caddis nymphs. Gives a nice soft, flowy motion in the water. And also, too, if you guys haven't already gone on the Norvise page and voted for the first round of the March Madness tournament, make sure you guys go on and do that. There's been some really awesome submissions so far for the first round. So make sure you guys go on and support that. Oh, and I heavy-handed it. Snap my thread. So, if you do this and you break your thread, what I do is I'll grab it with a clamp. I'm going to wind back up my bobbin. Unfortunately, I only have 2 bobbins at the moment. So I wasn't able to have a couple spooled up ready to go. I have one set up with the black, one set up with the green, and that's all I have. So just bear with me for a second here. Michael Terry, I tie mostly with UTC thread. I've noticed, and I'm sure other people can agree with me, they have sometimes, you know, you don't get the best quality spooling. You know, I'll get tangles on the spool, stuff like that, but I love the color selection they offer, and I love the fact that it lays super flat and it's really easy to split, because I use the split thread a lot. Alright, so we'll try to just recapture this, fix our broken thread mistake here. I get a little heavy-handed sometimes. It happens. And because we broke it, we'll try to we'll make sure it's nice and secure. We'll put a little UV resin here on the thread. I should make sure it's nice and secure. Oh, all over the place here. Oh, man. Well, that one might be a lost cause, but it is what it is. It happens. We'll throw a little extra UV resin on there. It'll catch fish regardless. Alright. What time is it? So we'll do like 2 more and then we'll switch over to the next fly. We're going to do up some Rainbow Warriors after as well. Another really producing pattern for me here in Vermont. Works well as a tractor fly. So for a hook, let's see here. And a Blue Wing Olive, size 12, competition jig hook. And we have a 3.8 millimeter matte black tungsten bead. So I'm using 0.015 lead wire. I'll give that 7 or 8 wraps. And should be able to fit all those, cram them all up into the head of the bead. That way we get all the weight without sacrificing shank space. So I'll lay down our thread. We're using UTC fluorescent chartreuse 140. Kevin, Pike Nasty, what's up, buddy? It's good to see you on the ice today, my friend. Alright, so I'll lay down a nice little thread base. Oh, where did my D-rib go? Again. I think it keeps falling off my desk, so I'll just cut a new piece. So I'm using vinyl rib, aka D-rib in nymph size, olive color. Take our lighter, hit the end really quick, kind of stretch it out so it's a little bit thinner. That way we can tie it in and still keep the tail end of our fly nice and thin. Do a wrap behind, a couple more over top. And so for dubbing blend, Polo Dub, Ice Dub. Got a 50-50 blend. And we'll do our split thread technique. See how flat that UTC lays? It's really good for split thread dubbing noodles. So we'll get our dubbing in there, give it a spin. Alright, wrap our rib around. You want nice tight but spaced out wraps. That way the dubbing can poke through. Make sure you guys are sharing the video. Norvise is giving away a prize package, and I will also be including all the flies that we tie tonight along with that prize package. So make sure you guys share the video for your chance to win. Give that a little whip finish. And we'll switch to our black thread. And for a dubbing for the collar, it's this, again, this, I'm not sure what it is. It was given to me, no label, it's mystery dubbing. It's very soft, nice and flowy in the water. We'll do our split thread. Noodle's a little heavy, just pluck a little off. Oh my god. Alright, well, that's the second time I heavy-handed it and snapped the thread, so... This, I'm not even sure. I'm using uni-thread right now. And it likes to keep snapping on me. So bear with me here. I rethread my bobbin. Alright. Yeah, it might be seal's fur. I'm not sure. It, again, I had no package, no label, so I really don't know who made it, what it is. But it seems to work really well on my caddises. Alright. Let's try to fix this here, my snap thread. Come around, we'll capture that. Any of you guys also have a heavy hand sometimes? Seems to be a fairly common occurrence for me snapping thread, trying to cinch it down too hard. Alright, we'll throw a little UV resin on there, just since we broke the thread and had to repair it. Try to keep it. Give it a little bit of shelf life, you know. There you go. Alright, so we're about halfway through the video, so let's switch over and we'll do some Rainbow Warriors. So we're still going to be tying on the same hooks. We're going to be using a size 12 blue wing olive wide gape jig hook. And we're using a blue wing olive 3.8 millimeter rainbow tungsten bead. Get that in our jaws. Grab a drink of water. Alright, same deal as before. Take our lead wire. Give it like 7 or 8 wraps. And then shove it up into the... That's the one thing I really like about the blue wing olive tungsten beads. They have a nice wide slot, which gives room where you can shove the lead right up in there. So for this one, we'll be doing the chartreuse thread. 140 chartreuse. Nice little base layer down. So for a tail, we'll be using this rainbow crystal flash. I'll pluck off 3 or 4 strands, whatever your preference is. I think I might have 5 here, but that's okay. So lock those in. Give it a snip. Alright, and then for the flash of the body, we're going to use Opal Mirage tinsel. Get my piece here. I'm going to cut an angle. Oh, come on. There you go. Lock that in. And build ourselves a little bit of a thread taper. And then for a ribbing, we're going to be using this, I don't know how you pronounce it, Sibai, I'm not sure. But it's this flat wire, which is really cool. I'm a big fan. It's just different, you know? Everybody's seen the round wire forever, so it's something different. It's kind of cool. So my rough hands are catching the thread here. So I'll lock that in. Continue building our taper. And we'll wrap our Mirage tinsel up to the head. And you can use any color thread for the underbody. I mean, I just used the green this time because even though the threads are rainbow colored, they seem to be overwhelmed with kind of red and pinkish purple color. So I feel like the green is a nice contrast. I'll snip that off. And we'll wrap our wire. Couple wraps in front and behind. Helicopter the wire off. You can see how that flat wire it's kind of a different look, but it's cool. And then so for this, for a collar, I use another blend. I'm using Rainbow Scud Dub in both dark and light. I do a 50-50 blend. And just like our last fly, we're going to do a split thread dubbing noodle. Give it a spin. And again, if it looks a little uneven or heavy in spots, just kind of pluck it off. And give it a wrap. Kind of palmer it back as you wrap. And then the super long pieces, you can literally just tear away. Nice 3/4 turn whip finish. A little UV resin on there. Give that a blast. And there you go. I let go of my bobbin and it unraveled on me. Bear with me here. Seems to be my curse every time I make these videos. My damn bobbin always unravels on me. Bear with me here, folks. So make sure you guys share the video. Norvise is doing a prize package to one lucky winner. And I will be including all the flies that are tied in tonight's video with that prize package. So make sure you guys share the video. Bear with me here. I'm just trying to thread my bobbin. My fingers are not cooperating right now. So who else is getting hammered with snow where they live? Anybody else? I know they're getting it down south. I'm here in Vermont. It's a pretty normal occurrence for us, but All right. Alright, so for a hook, we're using a size 12 blue wing olive wide gape jig hook. And for a bead, we're going to be using a 3.8 millimeter tungsten rainbow bead. Get that in our vise. Lead wire, 0.015. 7 or 8 wraps. And the nice wide gape in these beads allows you to shove that lead wire right up into the bead head. And lay down a nice thread base. Alright, and so for ribbing, we're using, oh, sorry, that was the last fly. For the body of this, we're going to be using opal tinsel, and for the tail, rainbow crystal flash. So get your crystal flash. Tie that in. Build up a little bit of a thread body taper. Now we can tie in. Oh, where did it go? So we're using Mirage tinsel for the body. Cut a little bit of a angle in that. Sorry, get my hands to work. Capture that. And then for ribbing, we're using this Sci-Bi or Sci-Bi medium bright violet wire. It's flat wire, so it's a little bit different to your traditional tying wire. Lock that in. And start wrapping our, Mirage tinsel. Lock that in. You can get the BW hooks at bwofly.com. So now we will wrap our ribbing around. Make sure you guys share the video. Norvise is doing a giveaway, and I will give away all the flies I tie tonight with that giveaway. So we'll helicopter our wire, give it a couple, sorry, I'm still mentally stuck on the last fly here. So For our collar on this one, we're doing a blend of light and dark rainbow scud dub. 50-50 blend. When I blend it, I try to rip the fibers a little bit on the shorter side. That way when we do our collar, it's got a nice spiky feel to it. So I'll do a split thread. Wendy Davies does what stretch? And Sally Screener, the flat wire, you can get at J. Stockard. That's where I got mine. Sorry, I got rough hands. It keeps catching the thread here, making it a little difficult. Electrician hands. So I'll give that a spin. Rip off a little unnecessary excess. And kind of palmer that back a little bit. You can rip off all your long fibers and your excess. You know what? I don't like that one. Let's fix that one. We'll throw a little twist dubbing noodle on this one just to bulk it up a little bit. Looked a little thin for my liking. There. That's a little better. So I'll give that a 4 or 5 turn whip finish. Add a little UV resin. And give it another 4 or 5 turn whip finish. You know, the Euro Nymphs, and chances are they're going to get stuck under a rock or lost on a fish before it ever falls apart, but we still like to build them to last. Oh yeah, Terry, you're an electrician too? My hands feel like Velcro. Alright, so size 12, blue wing olive, wide gape hook, 3.8 millimeter rainbow tungsten bead, .015 lead wire, eight wraps. And the gap on these beads is wide enough to be able to shove that .15 wire, all 8 wraps, all the way up into the bead head. That way you don't lose shank space and you get all the weight. So for a thread, we're using UTC 140 fluorescent chartreuse. Hopefully I'll be able to see some of you guys this year at the fly tying events, but hopefully COVID doesn't put a kibosh on all that. We'll see what happens. Alright, where'd my crystal flash go? So we're going to be using rainbow crystal flash for our tail. There's just 3 or 4 strands is all you need. Lock that in and build up a little bit of a thread taper. And so for our ribbing, we're going to be using this Sabai flat wire in bright violet. I'll lock that in, nice and secure. And then for our body, we're using Opal Mirage Tinsel, large size. So cut a little angle on that. Capture it in on the tip of the angle. Keep working our thread taper as we build our fly. And go ahead and wrap. Oh my god. It's the first time I've broken the tinsel. Let's see if we can salvage this. Alright. Let's see if we can salvage this. Where's my clamps? There. And we saved it. Wrap our wire ribbon. Couple wraps in front and behind. Make sure it's nice and secure. Helicopter that off. And then for a collar, we're doing a blend of rainbow scud dub in light and in dark. I do about a 50-50 blend. I try to rip the fibers a little bit on the shorter side, so when we do our collar it has a bit of a spiky look to it. Throw a little bit more in there. Give that a spin. If it seems bulky in spots, just pluck it away. And it seems it's still a little light. Twist a little bit more on there. And if you have any excess, just rip it off. Do a 3/4 turn whip finish. Throw a little UV resin on our thread. And do another 3 or 4 turn whip finish. This just gives the fly a little bit more durability. Helps it last a little bit longer. And there's that. Alright. Well, I don't know if you guys can hear my screaming baby in the background, but I think that signals the end of tonight's video. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. You know, again, thank you for everybody that watched, tuned in, and shared the video. Norvise will be picking one person that shared the video to win. I'm not sure what the prize package they're giving is, but I will be including all of these flies that we tied tonight in the video. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 caddis flies, 3 rainbow warriors. I might even toss in a few extras to go along with them, as well as some stickers. So thank you guys all very much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys. Braden will be tying next Sunday. Braden Miller will be tying for the next week's live video, so make sure you guys tune in for that. And make sure you guys are voting for the March Madness tournament. The first round voting is up right now, so make sure you guys are participating in that. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time.